You're a successful data-driven PM. You know how to build, you know how to ship, and you know how to grow that product. Then you join a 0 to 1 product, and all of a sudden, you feel stuck. You feel slow. Your stakeholders aren't happy. What's going on? Your natural instinct is to think, did I just get bad at my job? Or are my stakeholders just impossible? It's neither. The real problem is a hidden trap that most PMs fall into. It all starts with a little feature request. But what's the right first step? The feature request, something like a stakeholder asking you, hey, can we please add a button to export a PDF? That isn't a solution. Your product sense kicks in and tells you, this isn't the problem, it is the symptom of a problem. It's like getting fever. When you get sick, fever is the symptom of an underlying problem inside of you. So how do you get to the root of that problem? Well, you take your stakeholders into the why right. You go through the 5 whys phase. You might finish even sooner. You ask them, why do you need a button to export a PDF? Because I need to have the PDF document. Why do you need to have the PDF document? Because I need to send it to my manager. Why does your manager need this PDF button? Because that's the only way that they can sign it and approve it. Why does your boss need to sign and approve the PDF? Because they don't have access to the tool. The real problem is that managers can't approve things easily. Okay, great, so you found the root problem. Now, how do you make sure you design a solution without just mapping the old broken process? How do you avoid that lipstick on a pig problem? The lipstick on a pig problem is the second part of the trap. You risk mapping your old bad process, not the user journey. Here's the secret. You must translate that internal old process into the real user journey. The process is what your team does. For example, sitting at a train station in an office, typing in a computer to sell a ticket to a traveler. The user's journey is waiting for 15 minutes to get that ticket. That is the difference between a process and a journey. Okay, so now we found the problem and we are focused on the user journey. What happens now? All of your instincts start screaming, danger. How do we avoid risk? How do we make sure everyone's on board with this solution? How do you get that consensus? How do we build for scale? And it's all wrong. Why are your greatest strengths as a PM suddenly becoming your biggest weaknesses? This is the final clue and it solves the complete mystery. The reason your best instincts are failing you is that your greatest strengths have become your biggest liability. You're a compounder product manager collecting those interest rates from the different features that you've been building throughout time in a creator's game that just needs to build something from 0 to 1. This isn't just a label. Let's look at the conflicting behaviors side by side. First, your view of failure. Your natural instinct is to treat failure as a cost. An A/B test loses money. A creator, however, treats failure as a learning opportunity. This failure just saved us 6 months from building the wrong thing. Second, the source of truth. As a compounder product manager, you're relying on quantitative data. You want those 10,000 users to prove something via A/B test. As a creator, you have no users. Any user interview you're able to do is going to be a gain. You might have 1, 2, 3, 5 user interviews. And the moment you have those user interviews, you listen to those problems, a melody is going to start playing in your head. Your product sense is going to kick in, and you're going to find that pattern. You're going to find what that real underlying problem is. It's a qualitative signal. Third, your view of speed. As a compounder, you focus on process speed. How do we do this sprint? Did we deliver everything that we wanted this quarter? Did we get the papers from legal signed in time? As a creator, you focus on learning speed. How can I get these topics as fast as possible out from the table? How can I make sure that I validate a hypothesis? How can I make sure I kill this idea by Friday? Fourth, your relationship to risk. As a compounder PM, you're risk-averse. Your job is to protect the whole system and keep it stable. As a creator, you're risk-seeking. You're chasing that adrenaline. Your job is to find failure as soon as possible. And finally, your stakeholder skills. As a compounder, you're trying to reach consensus. You're trying to keep everyone happy. As a creator, you're not searching consensus. You're selling a vision. You're telling them where you're going, and you're asking them to trust you to try something out. This is the moment of relief. You're not a bad PM. You've been trading failure as a cause when it's supposed to be an insight or information. You were trying to get consensus when you needed to be selling a vision. You're not broken. You're just in a different game with the wrong rules. So how do you fix this? You don't need tips. You need the antidote. The creator's playbook is the antidote to your current failing behaviors. First, the antidote to risk aversion. Your compounder instinct tells you to build for perfection. However, what you're going to do is build for validation. This gives you permission to treat failure as information. You then build a full booking engine. You build a button that sends an email and that helps you define whether there is an intent. Second, the antidote for quantitative data. Your compounder instinct is to trust a big data set. The antidote here is to measure against a baseline, not an A/B test. This forces you to look at the 0 versus 1 signal. You're not going to look for that 1% lift at the end of a feature release. You're going to look at, did I make any progress versus the baseline that I started from? Did 100 users buy a ticket versus the 0 that were buying it before? Third, the antidote for consensus building. Your compounder instinct is to chase consensus. The antidote here is to share your product vision. This reframes your role from being a project manager to a vision seller and paves the way for the next compounder that joins the company. You also should tell your engineers whether what you're building is just a temporary road or whether it's the foundation of a new highway. Is it a feature or is it a service? Okay, now you have the antidote. You know the creator's playbook. But what happens after you succeed? How do you know when it's time to move from that creator product manager role into the compounder product manager role again? Well, that's a topic we'll cover in a different video. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to watch more stuff like this, subscribe. Thanks a lot and have a great day.